Welcome back to stage 6 of the stage brief. My name is Josh Morgan. I'm here with Dave, Taylor, Sean, and Tom, the largest crew we've ever had on the stage brief. On tonight's Course of Fire, we're going to talk about the Wilkes-Barre rifle and pistol
It's called
match.
Wilkes-Barre, by the way.
All right, Tom, thanks for that. We're going to talk about that match.
You're welcome.
We're going to go over a couple of thoughts on the idea of it's just a level 1, the rules don't matter. There's some equipment changes on my end, and Dave and I shot against each other for the first time. So let's get into it. We shot the match today. Dave and I were squatted together because they broke up our squad, and Taylor and Sean got split off into their own group. So I called it a win. I had a good time, but how was your guys' match on the other side?
Oh my God. All right. Since I wasn't at the match, I'll bring it up. For all those listening and watching, that one person, Josh Morgan put a dot in his gun after lying to everybody, as he usually does. And and he did pretty well. Except he won to beat Dave, a GM, by half a second and 1 delta. In bigger news, they both lost to a senior by 3 seconds. So, whoops.
All right, I promised I would dabble. I dabbled.
Oh, you dabbled.
Dude, you're such a jackass, dude. What is this? You're gonna That's it?
I mean, yeah, I'm putting the production gun back together, at least until through Delmarva.
Wow, this is...
Tom's in it. Anyway, back to your question, Josh. We had a great time over on our little squad. We got to shoot with Walter with a Walther, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, he was
who
great.
won the match overall?
You won the match overall, yes.
Not him. I'd have to go back and see.
I can almost guarantee you it is.
No, he won the match overall by almost 5% or 4%.
Did he?
Yeah, he had the...
Yeah, that's what they were telling you. They said he won the match overall.
Best hits, but again, the senior limited optics shooter had the best time, so...
Oh, well, yeah, he did. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he did not have the best time, but he was... no, some people went real fucking fast. But
yeah, he...
well.
But he shot really great. His stage plans were really good. Really nice guy. So he was on our squad, so I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I shot mid.
What division is that? Yes.
Why was it mid?
Oh, I just, the first stage just got me, and I don't know why. I shot a mic no shoot on the first stage, so that really set the tone for everything for me.
Just so you know, you did not shoot a no shoot.
Oh,
wow,
well,
this match was tight.
That'll be a great segue later.
You won High Lady.
Because I was the only lady there.
True. And yeah, you do not have a no shoot on your score. You have 1 mic, 1 delta.
Got you. Okay. Well, someone was very generous then, because
wow.
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely a no shoot shot.
The officiating.
We're gonna get to that, but yeah.
Sean, how did you do over there? I saw the edit. The edit was fire, 10 out of 10.
I felt very good about my shooting. My times were less than I would like. They were a little slow, I would say. Most of which I would chalk up to the conditions and footwear, which was
blame everything
irritating.
else.
But I was just slow in some
He was
stages.
wearing his joggers in the mud.
Yeah, dude, you gotta get some...
The tennis shoes in the mud were not a
grippy.
good idea, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But 3rd in carry optics and 8th overall, my best placing at a real match that I've done 3 of. So, I'll take that every day.
Oh, when is a
Yeah,
win?
you're really cooking, man. Like, watching your videos back, you put together a lot of complex strings, and you were able to hook up on some really challenging positions. So I think you should be very proud of yourself. Certainly not the performance that your classification would indicate. So well done there.
How did you guys do on your squad?
So Dave and I
Look at Josh trying
were
not to
trying
smile.
really hard to hand each other stage wins. We were really trying. If I took a penalty, Dave followed it right up and took a penalty of his own.
Good. Yeah.
If I shot 9 Charlie, Dave shot 9 Charlie. We were really with it. So going back and forth like that was kind of cool. I've been back from Dave for quite some time now, shooting production. So to put a dot on the gun and be able to shoot head to head with him on the same squad was really fun. So honestly, that's what I was focused on today, was getting to express myself with a dot, see some of the things translate from shooting production and learning to shot call on iron sights and being efficient in my movement. To see that translate to a dot, I was really happy with how that turned out, even if it wasn't a technically perfect performance.
Great.
Dave.
Right. Yeah, overall, I felt like I shot poor to bad. I could definitely feel not shooting live rounds for a week. It being cold in the morning, I felt extremely sluggish. And then probably through, how many stages did we shoot? 5 or 6?
6.
Six
Okay.
total.
6. Probably through 4, the sights started to look normal again. So once I got going, I felt good. But definitely can't take a full week off and then expect decent results in a match.
Right.
Agreed.
So when you say a week off, you're talking about live fire specifically, right? You still have your dry fire and everything
Yeah,
like that
live
going?
fire. Plenty of dry fire, plenty of ace this week, just obviously with our work circumstances going from shooting probably 1,000 rounds a week down to, I mean, I shot a couple yesterday at the range. I shot like 50 rounds just did real quick, just static. That's a big difference as far as what my training's been the last year and a half, so I could definitely feel it. Hopefully once work gets going back up, we get back up to some kind of training every day, and if not, I'll seek some outside ranges. Like me and Tom are trying to get into Anilani as members to do some at least once a week, hopefully more than that, outside training in stage environments.
Yeah, I already have a drill that I want to work on, but I have no idea how that range works. So
We'll find out Wednesday.
yeah, we will. It's gonna be fun.
It's very exciting. What drill do you want to work on, Tom?
It's not like a name of a drill. It's just, I'm assuming like you can't shoot the side berms, just like, so it would be.
No, I think you can. I saw
Oh, really?
Jordan and a couple guys ago. You can use any of the competition pits, it looks like,
Okay. So
and do it if you want.
So something that I learned this week is like taking more risks with shooting on the move. So I was able to put it together in my last stage on Friday. But so I would put like targets, maybe start with all opens and then up to difficulty, maybe just 4 in a row, moving forward while shooting them and moving backwards while shooting them. But I have it in my head. It's not just running and shooting at them. It's more like trying to blend two positions, I guess, by shooting some targets on the move. Because I actually saw this in one of your videos, Sean. It's so, you know, again, it's always easy to like look afterwards, but there are positions where I'm like, I can see all these targets from one position. I'll shoot them all from this position, but it's like I can shoot, like, which ones do I actually need to shoot from this position, and which targets can I shoot going out of this position to the next one? So as I'm moving, I'm shooting. If that makes sense. Instead of running to one position, shooting everything, running to another, shooting everything, running to another, shooting everything. It's like, all right, let me walk backwards, and shoot. And I found that it was riskier to go backwards and shoot 4 targets. I believe one was just a headshot. One was an open with a no shoot next to it, pretty generous. One was just an open, I think, and one was maybe a slasher. And I got all my hits. I didn't get all alpha, but it's not like I got a mic on the targets. And it was pretty cool to take that risk and see it pay off. But now I'd like to do the same thing and shoot, all alphas. So if that makes sense. So I'm lighting up 4 or 5 targets in a row, going, as fast forward as I can and then backwards. Not anything complicated.
Okay, cool. So you're working on is it a mental thing or a technical thing?
It's like it's it's kind of hard because like at Guardian, there's some limited options. So a lot of it is like going to position, shooting this, going to another position, shooting that. And then when you get to like we shot 2 weeks ago on Talani or like shooting on Friday, like it's like, oh, there are times and stages where you can blend positions. And so I found myself not being as able to think of the idea before the stage, and then every time where it's like, oh, I could have shot this, I could have blended these positions together if I had thought of that. But it feels riskier to shoot on the move than to just stand and shoot. But it's like the person's already like 5 feet or 5 yards ahead of you, when you're done shooting, and you just have to run and do nothing. So it's
That's interesting.
yeah, it's mental, but it's also obviously ability. Like I have to learn to shoot on the move a lot better than I have been or currently can.
That's really cool to hear where you're coming from, because like Dave and I trained really hard the last couple of months to sort of go the opposite direction and really heavily weigh what the risks of shooting on the move are. So it's kind of cool to see someone else going in the opposite direction to sort of figure out where that balance is. Like, where is shooting on the move required to blend positions and build an efficient stage plan versus like when is the risk too high or when is the distance and difficulty not worth it?
Well, what was cool in one stage, and I know you guys weren't there, so I'll speak like generally. And I shot on Friday. I shot at Sam Callahan's range, just to put it in context. And there was this one stage, and he's getting ready for Delmarva, and it's like a 40-round stage. But anyway, like there's two positions at the start, right? There's two positions, and we all took position 1 and then 2. And so, part of the going there is getting some like training too, and some. So he was like, all right, since nobody did it, I'm going to show you what position 2 gets you over position 1. And so he shoots both ways, like the way we shot it and the way that he would shoot it. And it was roughly the same time, roughly the same hits, except he was two steps further into position 3. And it's like, and again, listening to the hit factor, like the Mason Lane talking about like at worst, doing it, going from position 2 to 1, at worst, you ended up at the same spot that you did doing it the other way. But at best, you're 2 steps ahead, if that makes sense. So it's like, oh, let me take these risks. Because at the end of the day, like it's not, the worst I can do is as good as the other person can do if they do it the other way. So that was pretty interesting. I also finally figured out when I watch Dave's videos, when he shoots around corners, his whole camera tilts. And like that was like a realization, and like I can't figure out what I'm doing. I must like, oh, it must be the same for me. But I realized that like when I shot, like my camera doesn't really. I break my stance. I don't know how to explain it visually, like without like having one of your videos. But I learned that like, and you like you're moving your hip, like your hips, your whole body's moving into position. I learned that too, which is like a huge thing because I've been breaking at the hips, and what happens with my hand is my support hand was coming off the grip and I couldn't see my sights. Like it's very slightly, but it changed my whole fucking index. And I think that might have been, no, on Alani it was just the weather, but I lost my sights just transitioning to, because I was just breaking at the waist instead of like the next time I was able to shoot it. Like I was, like my whole base was different.
Yeah, I try and keep my head like at the same angle as my optic. Whatever the lean is.
But
so
it's I think like it's your optic and your head. But if I took a picture of you, because you're like you play baseball and like I see it, but I just never clicked really. And like Josh, I think you do. Like you're not straight up, and then you're like crooked at the waist. Like I literally like bend in half for a visual. You're like you could probably make a line, like a diagonal line from the camera, optic, hands, hips, feet, like all in line versus me being like bent. I know it's hard not without the visual, like, but to describe it with words. But that was like the two things that I learned, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know.
So in this match that you went to, were you able to replicate the drag off that we have seen from prior
Yeah,
comp?
it happened in the beginning, and then it did not happen because I was just being more patient. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That is a positive
It
thing.
felt
Rectifying that is
slower. It
good.
felt slower, but it probably wasn't. Um, but yeah, yeah. Also, like Dave, I haven't shot live fire in actually 2 weeks. And like the first stage, I thought I was like, "What is this even? The gun? Like, what is this?"
We're gonna sound so pompous to the people who are listening to this who shoot like
Oh, dude,
once a
it's
month.
such a difference when you shoot once or twice a week live fire to go to nothing for 2 weeks. It's so crazy. And then a match, it's like, yeah.
Taylor and Sean, did you guys notice any degradation from a lack of live fire? Were you about where you expected to be?
Maybe a little. I think like I need to dry fire more. So if I dry fired a little more, I think I would have been a little bit better, but I don't even do that. So I shot very mid today. I don't really have an excuse for it. I should have shot better. A lot of mistakes that I did in South Carolina, just menial mistakes that I could just take minor tweaks on and I'd be good. But
I would say for my end, I would say I missed more of our weekly like competition matches. Like being able to stage plan every week would probably be more helpful. I would say than actually live firing. My hits are actually pretty decent all day. I mean, maybe a little messy comparatively to like normal. One delta for the whole match, so that's pretty good for me at least. So I missed like not thinking USPSA. I would say more than I missed shooting my gun.
Yeah, I mean, your hits are really good.
And you did, yeah, you shot a penalty-free match. So
Yeah. No mics, no shoots, no nothing.
So like everything like kind of hooked up as far as hits go. So like that came back quick, like almost like I hadn't not shot my gun for a week. Where it was more just like walking up to the stage and like having to think about how to do it again was weird after not doing it for a week and not thinking about USPSA for a week. So that was more missed than the actual shooting the gun.
yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up because I think like thinking about shooting and thinking about training and like how we're tackling deficiencies has pretty significant value to it. Like I don't think the Thursday matches and the 75 rounds that we shot weekly was majorly impactful into our improvement, but I think the ability to go through the stage, talk about things like high hit factors and how scoring plays out and things like that definitely gives us a frame of reference. So when we show up to a match, like we already know the math and the numbers are already something that we're familiar with, as opposed to having to learn that separately. But that's just me. That was the value I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you'll have to see, I guess, if you keep it. But I think I know you're like saying like there's 75 rounds like on the Thursday nights, but it makes a difference. It makes a huge like I know it doesn't sound like a lot. To me, it makes a difference. Like, yeah, stage planning, running a stage and all that, but like even just like knowing what the recoil feels like. I mean, it's a reminder, right? Like you just get a little reminder each week or twice a week. And having not that reminder, um, yeah, I mean, the first shot, it's like I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is what it's like to shoot a gun. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
Oh my god, the gun's going off.
yeah.
So with our match experience today, the match was a unique situation for shooters because Dave and I's squad did not have any ROs that were designated by the match, so we were self ROing our way through this.
Isn't that how it usually is?
Normally, the match director assigns ROs who are either comp to match fee or something like that to the squad.
That is not my experience in most matches.
Really?
Yeah, dude, at Antolani, we're, trading ROs.
Oh yeah, Anilani, but there were certified ROs on the
Yeah,
squad
they were certified ROs. Yeah, sure.
that registered as certified ROs. like in the
Oh
registration.
yeah.
They
Oh,
check
you're
the
right.
RO
Yeah, yeah.
box.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Good call.
We did not have that today. Sean and Taylor, did you guys have any certified ROs with you?
Yeah, we had a couple ROs. We all just took turns, so I mean, for the most part, it wasn't too bad.
All right,
Yeah,
so
they even let me touch the tablet, so
oh my God, well that explains a lot about Taylor's missing no shoot.
no,
So
I didn't score her stuff.
Taylor's missing no shoot sort of clues us into a bigger
Yeah,
picture.
Taylor had all alphas. It's really weird.
Really fast
That's
time too,
crazy.
suspiciously.
That's nuts.
10 seconds faster than the next person. Very weird.
Where the sentiment, at least among our squad, was it's a level 1. We can sort of score what we want, reshoot as we want.
What does that
not
mean?
a lot of
Reshoot as
adherence.
we want.
Like if there was an issue with a prop, for example, right? Like a steel didn't go down.
Okay.
There was no degree of calibration or like adjustment to the stage.
Dude. Yeah.
It was just immediate reshoot, which is fine until 6 people have that same problem and we don't adjust it, and now we're backed up six shooters.
That's so funny. Mine went the other way. I was shooting at a plate and it wouldn't go down. Not on Friday, at another match. A popper, and it wouldn't go down. I'm like, should I ask for calibration after the stage? And the guy was like, it's a level 1, man, whatever. I was like, all right. I had to, like, you know.
Yeah, but they give you the hit and move on.
Well, eventually it went down after I hit it 4 times. So.
Oh, if it goes down, you can't call for calibration. You shot it until it was scored.
Okay, whatever. There you go. See? I don't even know the rules.
And so that also came over to like overlays and target hits and something like that. And there was a time where I was ROing and I called for an overlay because I didn't have one on a target that I thought might have been 2 alpha with a double. And
did you shoot the target?
No, it was a different shooter. I was ROing. And rather than wait for the guy with the overlay, the guy was like, screw it, Alpha Mike, it's just a level 1, and paste the target before the overlay gets there. So
what did that shooter say?
I mean, the shooter was fine with it, but it was annoying. Well, it's annoying as a competitor because that guy might not have got the score he earned. And I think everybody who shows up to a match is entitled to the score they earn. No more, no less. You get the score you earn. And if we have a tool like an overlay and it takes us an extra 15 seconds, like, let's do it. Let's make sure we're accurate here.
They just traded. He got a mic. Taylor didn't get a no-shoot. It's fine, dude. It's all
well, I love a good overlay. I want everyone to call an overlay if they want to. They're, yeah, I just walk right up with two.
Wow, Josh is ROing. He tried to weasel me out of an alpha.
Wow.
No, I did not.
Yes,
I looked a little bit deeper at the target, and there were
deep?
2 grease rings on one hole. It was an alpha.
It was a target. It was one of the ones where you shoot almost straight down into the ground through a port. So the target was probably a good 10 inches off the end of my barrel.
And you missed it.
And I took 4 shots at the target. I drug a Charlie onto the target, and then I came back and took a 3rd alpha. And he had the audacity to call 2 alpha, 1 Charlie.
Okay.
Clearly.
Was it 3? It was 3 hits.
3 per, yeah.
Okay.
It was 3 per.
There was 1 average 9mm size hole, and there was 1 like 50 cal hole in the paper.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first off, it's at a slant. Let's not get carried away. So
well, yeah, but that makes it more obvious. To begin with.
No.
Yeah.
Not this one.
Oh, okay. It's a special target.
But he watched me take 4 shots at the target. It's only inches away.
Dave,
and then I went back and made it up.
And there's 3 holes in it, so it's worth me looking. Yeah, as someone who's responsible for scoring, you're entitled to the score you earn. And in this case, it was 3 alpha, and sometimes that takes a little bit longer to get to.
It was just a very half-assed glance at my target.
Wow, Josh, you did beat Dave.
He didn't even walk
by 1 shot.
He tried to call from like 10 feet away, too.
Oh my gosh, now we're just embellishing. Now we're just embellishing.
Just looking the other way completely.
He's sitting in the back of the bay trying to make the call.
I was looking at it, and
He's
sure
like,
enough, there were 2 independent grease rings.
Am I going to beat Dave in this match? Oh, Mike.
No, there was no call for Mike there.
He clapped that no shoot. I saw
it. But I'm going to give that same opportunity to every shooter to verify that what I'm calling is correct. And if the shooter contests the score, that's totally fine. Like, I have no problem with someone saying, no, I definitely shot 2 alpha there or whatever it is. And then if I'm responsible for scoring the stage, then that's fine. We go take the necessary steps to look deeper at the target to make sure the shooter gets the score they earn. And in Dave's case, it was 3 alpha. But in the case of the shooter who my scoring RO decided it wasn't worth him getting a fair shake at that target, we don't know. He could have been given a mic unwillingly, or not unwillingly, but an unearned mic. I personally think that's wrong. I have an issue with that when we're at a match that's affiliated with a governing body like USPSA.
Very honorable.
Very honorable.
Very
honorable.
Very noble, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It is very noble.
Very above
I
board.
agree with that. If you call an overlay, call an overlay. I don't care if it's a hair just away from that break. You want to call an overlay, you call it. I love it. I think it's so fun.
Arguably, wouldn't that be the best time to call an overlay?
What?
When it's real close, wouldn't that be the best time to call the overlay?
Well, yeah, but you guys the overlay I called at one of our matches where I was like, no, get an overlay, and you were like, no, dear Sean.
No.
But here's the
swing
thing.
and a miss on that.
Overlay on every target.
That's the exact time not to call an overlay.
Now, was it a silly overlay?
See
Yes. But Tayler, as a competitor, is deserving of the score she earns, and if she has an issue with the RO scoring, she absolutely has the right to call for an overlay.
There you go.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right I do.
We can make fun of her for it later, but she has a right to do it in the match. Did you guys encounter anything similar on that on your squad with the lackluster scoring?
Oh, absolutely. Our pasters weren't the greatest with some of them, so or whoever was pasting just didn't press it on. So a lot of pasters fell off, and then we were just calling shots like, "Hey,
was it
there's
raining?
5
Was it
here.
raining though?
Oh yeah, it was down.
It was misting a little bit.
It was
All
misting.
right. So that makes
The
sense.
targets were dry though.
It's like the guy.
targets were weeping. The heads were.
They were not weeping.
Like the guy clearly shot 2 shots on it, but then there's like 4 holes in it, and they're like, "How many times did you shoot at this?" I was like, "Obviously twice." There's couple pasters fell off, and he was like, Alpha Charlie." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
9mm buckshot, dude. That's what I shoot.
Get her done. Do what you got to
Yeah,
do.
I'd say.
Well, when Josh was ROing, he also somewhat aggressively yelled at the squad for not pasting a target. But I watched a guy during his run. He shot it 3 times from one position and then ran over another position and shot it 3 more times. So it's actually just all of his makeup shots from one stage that Josh turned about.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That one on the field course.
That hardcover on the right side, you can only see from one position, and it had the exact same hits that I had on that perf break alpha that I had scored
the hardcover was
3 shooters again.
But then the open target next to it had 6 holes in it. I watched him take 6 shots.
Oh, sure, but the right side target had 6 holes in it too from 3 different shooters. So nobody pasted that either.
It only had 4. 3 hits, 1 mic.
We were having pasting issues as well. I would say that was our big complaint, was just the pasting.
I didn't love the hardcover in the match. The hardcover, they gave a decent tape line and then just one light pass of spray paint. Doesn't matter where it hit, it just hit somewhere in the hardcover area, and they said that's good. It was mostly brown, and as if they spray painted from probably a good 10 feet back and just let the mist land on the target.
Wow.
Okay.
I guess I didn't see that as that big of an issue. What challenges did that pose?
But it's just, if you're going to make hardcover targets, I think we can probably afford to put a little bit more paint on there.
Why not?
Dave's big on this. God, I've made hard cover targets at our range, and if I get a smidge, a scotch of like leftover black on to the brown, he's like, absolutely not redo it again.
Yeah, if you're gonna put your name to it, it's got to be good.
I'm like, okay, but then it's true. I mean, it didn't bother me too much either. But
and then me and Josh started on stage 1 and 2, and then Sean and Taylor finished up on 1 and 2. And by the time me and Josh shot the match and worked our way back up to meet them, the steel targets on stage 2 were completely rearranged from not being staked down properly.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. I would say our R-ring was good until we got up to that stage, and it was we were dealing with the sins of everyone else that had been there. And it got to the point where one of those, the stands got turned around. Somehow it got turned around, so it became, instead of falling backwards, it was meant to fall forwards, and it kind of screwed the one guy's run. So it was like, how did someone spin this around in between shooters? Like, it was someone in our squad did it. It was like, how did this happen?
For reference, Tom, when me and Josh started the idea of the stage, it was a big popper that was hiding a mini popper. So it really made the timing of it weird because you only had 2 positions to shoot probably like 6 targets. Okay. So you had to kind of stand and shoot and go back and forth. And by the end of the day, the big popper and the little poppers were next to each other.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like blading the little popper.
That's way easier.
It was blading the little popper, so then people were just kind of running to the corner. It changed the whole stage plan for the stage because people could just go right and then left and finish left and stand and deliver and just ting 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 and then shoot both poppers at the same time instead of ting paper ting. Like it wasn't good because the stakes just popped right out. Even for us, we re-staked them down, and the next that shooter would knock them out. Like they weren't sticking.
Right.
Which isn't, it's not anyone's fault. I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? But I did have to tell one of our persons that was ROing that you can't peel a paster off of a target in the middle of trying to score. So that was fun. Now I know. Now I know.
All right. I mean, have you guys been to this match before? Are you guys going back or?
Yeah, we'll be back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was $25.
It's a Sunday
so
match.
Fun.
And we got to go to Sheets twice. So
the sheet stop alone makes it worth it. I'm going.
Josh,
I got to shoot my gun.
4 beautiful brats today.
Oh yeah,
2 breakfast brats, 2 lunch brats.
Jesus Christ! All right.
And then he shot well.
Yeah.
Less than a week after him telling me we're not going to eat before matches. Now we're going to eat after matches. He said I'm going to do breakfast.
I wonder if carbs make a difference before we eat.
Well, he switched to meat.
Well, okay.
Meat.
So what I've noticed is a
Eat
pattern
vulnerable.
in my shooting is when I eat something super heavy, for example, Olive Garden, one of my personal favorites.
You eat Olive Garden before a morning match?
The night before a major,
Jesus.
it's a problem. It
They have
does not
breakfast.
translate to high
I
performance
mean, that's
on my
normal.
part.
That's like everybody knows that.
Okay, well, I didn't, Tom.
Oh.
I had to learn that the hard way through
You
Area
guys eating
6
the
and South
carb?
Are you
Carolina.
an athlete? You're an athlete of some sort.
I was back in the day.
Yeah, so
And
you
you
carbo
carbo
load, but then
He still is.
you have to like do something physical after that.
No, we just went to bed after.
Gotcha. No, not. I like the next day.
I did. I shot a match.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not real physical. Yeah, all right.
It is for like
But-
20 seconds at a time.
Sure.
Olive Garden is like carbs. Like they're double
For the
carbs.
price, though. The salad breadstick combo for like whatever it is, $12.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's elite.
Yeah, so we learned valuable lessons here. We did not apply it today at this 6-stage local match, but that's okay because it's just a level 1,
All
and
right.
apparently that's a fine excuse
I'll ask
for
the
everybody
question.
else.
I'll ask the question nobody wants to ask. Dave.
Yeah.
What's going on? What happened today?
What
How do
mean?
you feel about Josh beating you with an
already
optic? He hasn't shot an
I give Josh
optic in
full-
5 years, 10
I
years.
give Josh full credit for beating me, but even Josh will admit to the whole world that I shot comparatively horrible compared to how I usually shoot.
He's not admitting it. So
But Josh-
anyway,
Dave is a
Josh
grandmaster.
beat me.
That is a grandmaster right there, one place below me on the leaderboard. But no,
there it
looking at
is. There it is. He's been hiding it the whole time.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Two-time
You beat me. There's no
grandmaster.
big deal with that.
yeah, so looking at Dave shooting today and shooting with him, like I really did my best to lose, and so did he.
Oh, good.
Like we really did not
I-
shoot great.
So you both shot like
Um,
shit, but you beat him. That's what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay, good.
and but I also think that plays into practical shooting as a whole. This is just a microcosm of it, but
of course.
everybody is going to make mistakes at every single level. And so it's less about who's not making a mistake and more about who's making the mistakes faster. So can you make and correct those mistakes faster than your competition?
Slow, smooth.
Oh my God. And so
Hit your hits.
it just so happens today that was me a little bit better than Dave, but I don't think either of us shot to our skill level.
Oh,
In the
no
world
way.
of
No.
shooters, you're the best shitty shooter, though.
I know, that's what he's saying. He's like, all things equal, I beat him.
No, it is, but if you go to ask anybody about any match that they've ever won, they will be able to articulate something that went poorly within that match, but they had to handle it in a
Oh
way
my
that was
God, what
efficient
is
and
this?
maximize
No,
their
we
score.
get it. Why can't you just be like,
It's just
dude,
a local. It's a level 1.
you've been, yeah. Relax.
See, most of the stuff I look at, I think it's the other way. The top one or two are usually the guys that survive the match almost mistake-free or even mistake-free, and the rest are the ones that did make the one or two mistakes. Like South Carolina, one no-shoot dropped me whatever it was, 7 or 8 spots.
Yeah, yes.
That's just one tiny mistake. Being relatively on pace for the match with I was a little off pace of the leaders, but one tiny mistake is that big of a drop at the higher end of things. So I would say the winner's usually mistake-free.
I mean, the Open winner wasn't. No handgun shooter won their division without a penalty. With the exception of Eric Shaw. Eric Shaw did win his division without penalty.
Yeah, so almost mistake-free.
Yes, but even then, like if you're looking at the upper echelon, is 4 deltas mistake-free.
In that match, yeah.
But what I'm saying is like 4 deltas, I don't think is mistake-free shooting. I think deltas are mistakes, and so is it as bad of a mistake as a no shoot?
If they're on the Holy Monkey target, I can't call a delta on that target a mistake.
Yeah, I would say for today, yes, that would be a big mistake. Like my delta today was a mistake, especially where it was very close to me. But at a very highly technical match, I would not necessarily call them mistakes. I would say sometimes it's what you can get.
See, I think it is. You're giving up 4 points.
That's why you lost the match today, Dave.
Tom's gonna rub that in. It's not even his win, and he's rubbing it in.
You're like afraid to rub it in. That's so embarrassing, man. Anyway,
I mean, there's nothing to rub in. I got him by what 0.1%.
Okay. There you go. Anyway, you put an optic on for the first time in 17 years, and you did well. Good. But you did shitty. Well, but shitty.
Well, I did what I wanted to do, and that was to see what I had practiced the last couple of years in production.
Sights are the same as a dot.
No.
Okay.
I promise I'll get through the sentence and it'll all make sense. So, being able to shot call effectively on irons and the visual acuity that's required to do that accurately, I had a hypothesis that it would translate well to a dot. And I think that it did. Like some of the makeup shots that I took that I knew were bad hits were almost instantaneous that I was able to register, because a bad shot on a dot is very, very obvious compared to the bad shots on irons I've been teaching myself to call. And so in shot calling alone, I was able to express a pretty substantial difference. And I think that that's going to be indicative of how I shoot moving forward, or how I'm training moving forward, is alternating between the two, because there's something to be said about going fast and seeing the speed's impact on your hit factor. But if you can shot call on irons, you can definitely shot call on dots.
Great. Are you shooting your optic again or what?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I will shoot my optic again. I will dabble throughout the year.
No, why don't you just shoot now? You're ready.
He is pretty bricked up for Delmarva because it has a whole platter of production shooters.
No way. Does it really?
There's 11 of us.
Okay. All right.
11. And a Grandmaster he's shooting against.
Sonny Mihal, who beat me last year at the same match.
All right. All right, here we go. I don't even know how to look this up. Oh, fuck that. All right. Oh, match breakdown. How do you know? Oh, you went through like all the squads and everything?
No, if you click on the name of the match and then in that little blue button, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, match breakdown.
Yeah, if you scroll down, there's a production column.
Yeah, 11. There's 11
Yeah, but it doesn't give you the names.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the names of the shooters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, to get the names? Yeah, I went through the squad list.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he went through that whole thing. He's got notes.
You can't even see what people's classes are in the squad list. It just has their names.
When you're registered, you can.
Oh, true. That's true. All right. Good. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Is that the last match you'll shoot iron sights, you think?
No.
Probably? All right.
No.
Could be.
I've got Delmarva. I've got GPA. I'm probably not shooting carry optics in a major this year.
Time to join the modern shooting world.
Well, no, just shoot limited optics.
Yeah, because that's what I meant when I said that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's fine, dude. You can just shoot limited optics, and that's fine.
Yeah. You can put it. I'm sure we can find a magwell for them.
You don't need it.
I shot limited optics today. It was just fine.
Why don't you shoot carry optics at area 8? Why don't you do that?
Why are you so against me shooting production?
I am a
He just wants to see it out of there before it dies. He doesn't want you going down with the ship.
Get
I'm
off
a
the
positive
ship, get on the life
guy.
raft.
He wants you in the lifeboat.
I want you to,
Put on your
see
floaties, get in
how
the lifeboat.
your true potential.
And you don't feel like that can be expressed in a division other than carry optics or limited optics?
Okay, so how long did you shoot against Dave with iron sights and beat him? How many times?
Oh, a handful back when we first started.
Sounds like 0. And
Back when we first started, it's not now though.
and now 1 out of 1 with an optic. Actually, sorry, you did shoot a couple months ago, but 3 years ago, whatever. All right.
I mean, is the argument that
you're shooting against
production
Nils
shooters
Jonasson
will lose to
against
carry
Area
optics?
8? Okay, fine. And Mason Lane, they're both shooting production. All right, fine.
So the heat
Tom
in the
will allow it.
division is how you're justifying the worthiness of the division? Because that's fair. I'm just
Yes!
curious.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Shoot against, if you're comparing yourself in production to people who shoot production at world shoots, sure, then I understand it.
Yeah, if you're shooting against yourself, pretty much, then why do it? If you can shoot against really good shooters,
I don't think I've ever shot against myself at a major.
not necessarily at a major, but like,
Oh my God. All right, we're not going to spend 5 hours on this.
Just another quick Area 8. Taylor will be rematching against Kaylee Lane.
Ooh.
Who she slightly lost, or just didn't lose to by that much at Extreme.
Yep. So I will be trying to get that upper hand.
Wait, Kaylee Lane won at Florida?
I believe
Production optic and ladies.
Wait, say that again. You broke up.
Got first in production optic and ladies. So yeah.
Okay. I thought it was somebody else for some reason. Okay. All right. Nice.
That's very exciting. I'm excited to see that.
How much did she beat you by? How many percentage points?
Oh God, I'd have to go back and look.
10%.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
All right, you got
I just made some bags
laser
and
focus.
not even remotely get myself ready for that. This time I'm ready.
I can't, it's embarrassing, honestly. Taylor, you kick my ass every match now, and you're like, don't even try. And I'm like, fucking doing 5 hours drive higher a day, and I suck.
You don't suck, Tom. You're good.
Right.
I think we all agree that you need to not don't take this term loosely, but you need to let loose.
Let loose.
you just pop
Like
one
you-
off when you're not ready for it.
Come
That's
shoot
what I
some
do.
shit.
My drag off issue is letting loose, dude. Just bam.
Speaking of popping off, we did have someone pop off early today.
Nice.
I did have to
Pre-pop
DQ a
off.
shooter.
And then we did have people in the squad arguing if an ND during a reload is a DQable offense because it didn't go over the berm.
Good heavens.
Well, okay. Was it at a target?
No.
No, it was mid-reload running up range.
Yeah,
Like
that's
over
a,
his
yeah, I mean,
shoulder.
that's a DQ. Yeah.
We can DQ for ND during the movement. We can DQ for ND during the reload. We can DQ
Damn.
for safety concerns
Josh,
for the
you're
RO.
going back to this match? Sounds like they hate you up there. They're going to be like, fuck.
Josh did
Ew.
end up DQing him for unsportsmanlike conduct, though, after all that.
No.
Wow.
I DQ'd him for the ND during the reload,
This
which
guy
is the
wants
accurate
overlays,
descriptor of the
DQs
rules.
people.
And he's pre-DQ'd for next match.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
here's
rough.
the thing, though. If someone is willing to step up and run the timer, I will keep my mouth shut the whole match. I won't say a word. You can clack one off during the reload all you want. If I don't have the timer,
Wow,
I
where's
ain't
your
saying
integrity now,
nothing.
Josh Morgan? Wow.
Power really went to his head.
Yep.
We did have someone on stage 2 definitely took too many steps forward and definitely shot up range on that far right target on the big stage you guys finished on.
Yeah.
I believe it was the.
What?
I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna say his name, but the target was set up. It was 180 trap for sure.
Yeah, it was
You could probably shoot it to 190. And he
Oh.
clearly shot it up into
Yeah,
probably
because the way you say
the
shut
low
up
180s.
range,
And me and Josh were standing there like, oh my god, those are kind of coming past us now instead of going next to us.
They're zipping past my head now.
Jesus.
But we just giggled. We had our jackets on, so it would have been fine.
Yeah, you had your hats
It was
on.
a cold, yeah.
a few moments of people being
You had
unsafe
your eyes
on
on.
the squad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a couple.
So I also think that goes back to the sentiment that it's just a level one. Like if your club permeates the mentality that rules, safety, whatever, are like flexible because it's a level one. Like the guy who unbagged his gun in the bay,
Yeah, that
who
was
did
Yeah.
not get DQ'd.
We'll rebag
Um,
and then unbag.
if Dave and I had
Was it a
not been on that
PCC?
squad, no,
no,
it was
it
a
was a
handgun.
pistol.
He was
Came out
he
of
was
the
finishing up
holster.
his match. He was a production shooter though.
Ooh.
If-
There you go.
But if
There it
Dave and I
is.
had not been there to say yes, an ND during the reload is a DQ, like would he have been DQ'd? Would he have been able to talk himself out of it? I don't know, right?
And you're
But
going back,
if
right?
yeah, absolutely. But if we're having
Absolutely.
these conversations, like it's important for the community as a whole to say like, hey, this stuff is important.
Okay.
Yeah, like at what point do we all say, okay, even though it's a level one, there's got to be some
No, you got it. No, if you get a D,
accountability here,
yeah.
because the guy that unbagged his gun or unholstered it and put it in the bag was on our squad, and he was this was his first match.
Okay.
He's never done it before, so he was getting some slight coaching. And
Not
we were
not during the stage.
No,
No.
we're during the stage.
Okay.
there was a specific person that coached him a little bit too much during the stage, but
Sure.
outside of that, we were trying to help him out as much as possible. But we thought it was pretty common sense. Like, you can't unholster your gun behind a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
behind you. Oh,
It was one
because
of
at
the
the end of
first
at the end
ones.
of one match, like I wanted to put my gun directly in the bag, and so it was unload, show, clear, and then I had
Yeah,
my bag.
No, he was just doing it on his own time.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
he was
Yeah.
just doing
Yeah, it
it.
doesn't matter. Shoot downrange, uprange.
Yeah. So,
Both.
but at that
both
point, the
range
match
and
was
nade.
done. Everyone was trying to get home, and it was just like,
Gotcha.
it was one of those things where it was just like we had just caught him when he did it, and we were like, don't do that again. You can't do that. But it's like sometimes it's like common sense like that. Like you thought you didn't
Wow.
have to kill that
Dude.
person, but clearly you gotta.
Yeah, I know people are afraid of DQ people, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you're DQ'd, I guess you get pissed and you never come back, or you're just like, I'm never fucking doing that again because I don't want to be DQ'd. I feel like it's the second one.
Yeah, I mean, if you earn the DQ, take it and learn from it. Like if I ever DQ'd on my first match, I would understand because I would be like, fuck. But then I would just try not to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. Nice.
Thanks, Tom.
I still haven't DQ'd yet.
Neither have I. Well, never mind.
All right, guys. I think that covers everything on the itinerary. Any closing thoughts or off-script stuff we want to get through?
Unless you have a special announcement to make, I don't think so.
Having to actually stage plan by myself with Taylor was irritating. I don't want to ever do it again. Not having someone to tell me what to do is really frustrating.
Dude, you're supposed to learn that on your own.
I know, but we did fine, but it was like, this is stupid. I hate this.
Oh, wow.
Where are my adults at? Someone tell me how to do this shit.
Did you find it to be like you were doing the plan everyone else did, or were you sort of coming up with your own plan based on what you knew?
I would say most of the stages were very straightforward as far as how you should do them, with slight variations. But I feel like they worked out. My changes to them worked out just fine, as far as hits and how I did. So that it didn't hurt me there. The last stage was tough, but I think the top one with the 180 trap.
Did you not ask
was
Walter
tough.
at all for his stage plans?
No.
We were just starting to talk with him. Like I had conversated with him,
Okay.
asking about my Walter, and then I finally noticed that he was Walter with a Walter, and I was like, "We follow you." So like, but he was nice. But
No, he's super nice. Yeah.
me and Sean's like we would go back and forth being like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like Sean, me and you did the field stage differently. Like he shot it differently than I did, and it was it was interesting to see what he did and what I did. So that was pretty cool.
Sean, the more you do this, you'll know who like you can ask besides Dave
Yeah,
and Josh.
I probably, to be honest, I probably wasn't going to ask him either way. He did obviously have really good stage plans. He won the match, but I was kind of chasing him all day as far as trying to keep up. But and he always went after me, so like I didn't get to watch him run it. So it was always a surprise to see what he was going to do. Especially on that field stage that Taylor was talking about. I think I was like 24 seconds. It was stage number 5. I think I did 24 seconds, and then Walter kind of came in, went left instead of going right like I did, and cut 4 seconds off my time. And I was like, that was the better way to do it.
Nice. And somebody did in 16.
We're very suspicious of that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It was very easy in that stage if you went right first to outrun the RO in the left position.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then on an open, echoey field, it might not have picked it up.
I think we'd have to see the video of proof of that being a second stage.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I just don't remember.
I mean,
I remember
M-Class, limited optics.
Walter did it in like 20 seconds, and I was like, wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 16-second one, I don't remember it being very fast. Like that fast, like 16 seconds would have like blown our socks off, I feel like. And I think
like
he
you
was
got blown.
in the mid-20s with the
Yeah, Sean was
rest of us.
blown on that stage, I believe.
No, unfortunately not. I was just cold and wet in the rain.
Should we do a shout out to try and get Sean a girlfriend on here too?
No,
No.
this is in the recording right now.
All right, guys, we're getting a little too silly. There's some serious sleep deprivation going on from the gang, so we are going to hammer down and holster on this one. If you guys have made it to the end of the podcast, thank you so much for putting up with us all the way through the end.
Who listens to this? Anybody?
Yeah, there's quite a few people, and we love them all. Double Tap Dynamics is sponsored by Lock Grips and Brass Monkey Bullets. I am personally sponsored by Warhorse Ordnance and Goliath Defense. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great night.
Bye.